All right. Let me see. Some more people are connecting. Okay, there we go. Somebody else connected. Take a second. iPhone, whoever you are, do you know how to change your name so that you are telling me who the hell you are? So please let me know if you don't know. I can do it for you if I know who you are. iPhone person. There we go. Thank you. If has everybody had a chance yet to I finished grading all the quizzes, so I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at it yet. All the quizzes are graded, so just to remind you guys, you can make corrections, right? And just to make sure everybody understands how corrections work, so you, on another sheet of paper, you would redo any problems you lost points on, and then submit those right back in the same place. And it's spelled out on the syllabus how points work. So if you got above an 80, like an 80 or above, you can get 5 points back. If you do all the corrections, get them all right. Everybody with me? So if you got an 87, you can get up to 92. You get up to 100. So if you got a 98, you can get up to 100. But if you get below an 80, you get 1 point for every 4 points you missed. So for example, if you got a 60, how many points did you miss? If you get a 60, how many points did you miss?
40.
40 divided by 4 is?
10.
10.
So you could get 10 points back if you do all the corrections, get them all right. I like it. And if I get any
What's a
feeling,
75?
say again, sorry?
What's a 75?
All right, so how many points did you miss?
I don't even remember.
Well, no. If it's a 75, how many points did you miss?
Out of what?
Well, it's always out of 100 for me. I always make everything out of 100.
25.
Divided by 4 is roughly, what's 24 divided by 4? 6. So you could get 6 points back. So if you get below an 80 and you do corrections, I will give you 1 point for every 4 points you missed. If you're not sure how to calculate that, then just do the corrections anyway. You're going to get a higher grade unless none of your corrections are right. So if you don't do all the corrections, or if some of them are wrong, you get less points back. You will never get below what I put on your quiz. Is everybody with me? I always want to make sure people understand. Even if I go, oh, I should have taken off 10 points and I missed it, I'm not going to suddenly do that. You guys understand what I'm saying? So there's no reason to not try to do some corrections. If that was my mistake, then I'm not going to take points off because of a mistake I made. You guys with me? I can give you less points back, but I'm never going to make it go below what you got in the first place. It could only stay the same or go up. So do corrections. It's a smart thing. Everybody with me on that? And you guys realize you can get help on your corrections from me? You can say, I don't want to turn these in, but can I tell you what I got and you tell me if they're good? Think about that for a second. And what can you do this with? You can do this with everything. You can do it with homework. You can do it with a quiz. You cannot do it with the final. I love the name of the final. The name of the final is very descriptive. It's a final. That's it. But everything else, all the quizzes you can correct, all the homework you can correct once. You can only correct each thing once. All right. So before you turn them in, just say, hey, this is what I got. Does it sound all right? And I'll tell you it sounds good, or I'll tell you it needs some more work. And then you can say, well, I don't understand. And then I can explain it to you. Oh my God, it's amazing. Sorry, I get a little crazy with people that make 50s on the quizzes and stuff, and they don't do any corrections. Like, what is wrong with you? I don't know what's wrong with my hair. My hair is like everywhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, none of my teachers ever let me do corrections. So I always get a little bit like, what the hell's wrong with you? If you're not going to do corrections, that makes no sense. Anyway, all right, I'll stop. So look at your quiz, you know, whenever you get a chance, and you can always ask questions. If you ask questions during class time, I'll do problems like that because I don't want to give the answers away. That's what you got to get to. Okay, so any question about the quiz? Any questions about any homework problems? No, okay. All right, somebody else just connected. So again, look at your quiz. You can make corrections. It's explained on the syllabus how those work. And let me know if you have homework questions. Otherwise, we're going to get right back into section 1.5. All right, so let me see. I'm going to pull this up here. Blar, blar, blar. All right, here, let's do this one. All right. What kind of sucks about this is I can't write on this screen, but that's just too bad. Can everybody see the book now? This is page 60 in the book.
Yes, we can see it.
So here's data given to you in a table. Do you enjoy looking at this? No, it's like blarf. It's just, you know, numbers. Okay, so that's one reason. That's one very, very basic reason why we graph. When I graph the data, I can see trends. So this is unemployment rate in the United States, and this is percent unemployed, and this is by year. And of course, like I said last time, if you kept this going, it's going to go wah! Once the pandemic hit, it went a little insane. It just demolished this. So can you see any trends? Does anybody, what was happening in this? Why does this time period look really bad right here, this time period?
The recession.
Yeah, and what's happening, of course, with the recession and our unemployment rate?
Increase.
Like crazy. Yes, exactly. We're not going to get into any politics of stuff, anything. It's too much of that shit to deal with in daily life anyway. But we're just looking at the data. That's what happened for whatever reason. Then it slowly came down. All right. So we basically talked about trends. So you can always try to see trends from a graph when I graph something out. Let me see what their point is here. I don't want to talk about it. Oh my God. Don't watch too much. You're going to get sick. So can somebody tell me what that point, can you see where my arrow is pointing? Let me pick a better one. Let's say this one. I like it. That point right there where my arrow is pointing. Can somebody tell me information about what that data point is? What year is that data point?
1995, the unemployment percentage was about a little bit over 5, close to 6%.
A little bit. Good. I like it. Just a little bit over 5 in 1995. I like it. And 4.9, I think, is the average. Yeah. All right. What it was expected to be in 2016. Anyway. All right. I'm kind of assuming we know x-axis, y-axis, how to plot a point, those kind of things. We did talk a little bit about that before. How would I write? Let me see if I can use this tool real quick. Okay. How would I write the, hold on. How would I write, are you gonna let me do this? Let me see. You gotta excuse me as I get used to various technologies. Oh my goodness. All right, you gotta really excuse me. All right, it only works on that screen over there. And then I wanna move you guys so I can see you guys over here. What do you guys see now? Do you guys still see the, oh no, you didn't. You didn't just do that on your own. It just switched monitors. All right, hold on everybody. There we go. Okay, are you gonna work with me now? Okay, that's not the one I want though. There we go, that's the one I want. All right, let's see if you will work with me. Will you work with me? Yes, okay. Can you guys still see the chart, the unemployment rate? Yes, okay, thank God. Can somebody tell me roughly what data point that is? What's the point? How would I write the name of that point out? I'm gonna give it away a little bit.
You don't
Roughly.
see anything.
Wait, what do you mean you can't see anything? Oh, I see,
Like
I see.
what you wrote or
I understand. Hold on, sorry. Here we go. Can you see some purple now? Can you see some purple writing?
yes.
Okay, good. So this point right there, how would I write that point out? Roughly. Looks to be about. So how do I construct any point that shows up on a graph? It would be X.
X, Y.
I like it. So what's the X piece of that point, roughly?
2010.
2010. I didn't give myself enough room.
7 point something.
No?
Or no, 9 point something, I mean.
Yeah, 9.7. So let's just say 9.6 or something. That's roughly what that is. Okay, let me stop for a minute. Is everybody, I could do that for every single one of these points. I could estimate what the point actually is, X, comma, Y. There are two directions I can go in, so there's two components to every point. It's just a way to find something. Okay, I like it. It's sort of like saying to somebody, go down 3 streets and then up 5 blocks, right? It's just trying to find a location. Okay. So let me switch back. This is going to be really annoying, but it's just the way it is. Oh, I see. That's why that's there. Okay. So let me, let's do this. Oh, man. Now you're there, and I want, okay. There we go. So, yeah, so example, this is for 2016, comma 4.9. What is the point right in the middle? What's that point right there? Can you guys see the book?
0.
Be careful, every point's got to have how many parts?
0, 0.
Yeah, it's got to have 2 parts. So that point right in the middle is 0, 0, 0, comma 0. And it's called the origin. Because it's sort of like where I start counting over and up or down and back. All right. Now let's get to something. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Now real quick. These should be very quick. Everybody, have you ever seen something that looks like these don't run around too much anymore. We got digital readouts. But has anybody ever actually seen this kind of thing? Right.
Yes.
I remember back in the day. Yeah. All right. I don't know anymore because it's a lot of digital readouts nowadays, which is great, but then you don't know what the hell this is trying to say. Can anybody tell me what temperature this is showing right now? So it's all about where this is, where this level is. Can anyone tell me what temperature that is? Real quick. I mean, nothing.
72.
Not really. Well, how do you know?
There's the 15 at the bottom, and I just counted 5, the bold lines.
But do you know how much the bold lines really represent necessarily?
No.
No. So this thermometer is useless because it doesn't tell me what the scale is on each side, right? And of course, the same thing over there. You can't say that point. Now what if I assume that every step is 1, can somebody tell me what this point, what the name of that point is? How far back do I go? If I assume this is 1, 1, 1, each one is 1 step. So how far back do I go?
2.
2, so that's -2. And then how far up do I go?
4.
4. So if that was true, the point would be -2, comma 4. Now, I just assume that. I have no idea what the scale is. So this is a very basic point. If you don't use a scale on some kind of a graph, it's useless. It doesn't mean a damn thing. I can't assume stuff because I don't know what you meant. So you have to indicate what the scale is for me to be able to read it. And when you do a scale, don't put 1, 2, 7, 12, 20. Holy what? The scale's got to be consistent as it moves around and out. Okay, maybe. All right, so some of you guys, I know this is old news, but still, it's for the people that it's been a while. All right, so then we get to something more interesting. So let me pull up this. This is, you guys are just gonna, oh, somebody's chatting at me. Yes, exactly, should be labeled. The scale should be indicated. So now let me do this. Let me get rid of this one. I don't need you anymore. Go away. All right, let me get this one and then let me share it. All right. Oh, you guys have disappeared. There you are. Okay. There it is. All right, so now you guys should be able to see a bunch of data. This is from page 63 in the book. All right. And in order to make this fit, you guys can all see the like 2006, 2007 here, and then 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, maybe? All right, a few people indicated yes.
Yes.
So this is the year. Oh, Jeff, what are you doing? Oh, yeah. This is the year, obviously. This is the years after 2006. And then this last thing is gas price. I'm not sure if this is like the US as a whole. If you scan down this list, you can tell it ain't San Diego, but you know. All right. So this is the January gas price. And I think it's probably for the whole US, but they don't really say, which is kind of bad on them. So if I were to plot this on this scale, first off, I should put gas price over here. And I should put years after 2006 down there. I always need labels. And then I go to plot this, right? I don't know, how many guys, if you're still bookless, this is obviously a bad way to be, right? Because we've gotten past the point where I'm gonna keep putting the homework up in the homework scans up for you. You need a book. And I gave you a ton of different ways to find a book that's, you don't have to pay full price. So hopefully you get a book very, very soon. But for stuff like this, you won't be able to do a damn thing if you don't have the book. So can you guys just graph these first 3 points on this graph? If you are able to, if you have the book. Or you can kind of try to copy this down real quick and do it. And I understand you can't be exact, but you just kind of estimate where things are. All right, so let me catch up to you a little bit. Let me do something real quick. I gotta put on my, I consider this to be like my bowling glove, even though it's not what it is. It's just so the technology works a little better. So 0, 2.32. So I'm gonna estimate that to be about right there. And then 1, 2.27. So 1, 2.27 will be more down here just a little bit. 305. So 2, 305 is clear up here, just a little bit above 3. So you don't have to be perfect here, right? This is by hand, but it should definitely be close. And then if I keep going, 3 is 1.79. So it's going to be like just about in the middle of those. 4 is 2.73. So that'll be about right there. 5 is 3.09. I don't hear anybody yelling at me, so I think everybody might be with me. 6 is 340. That sounds more like us for a minute there. And then 335. And then 332. And then 211. Hello. 211. Way down there. And then 197. Did I miss something? I think I missed something. Oh, all right, that's enough. So I think I did miss a point. So if I try to connect these, this is really interesting. I think I missed a year somewhere back there. Oh, well. But that is a much better, even though it's kind of crappy what I've done here, but still, that is a much better representation of this data. As a human being, I can take this in much easier than I can take this in. And plotting points is relatively easy. We can connect these with straight lines since we don't know what the middle is, but I kind of curved it around just to kind of fit it a little bit better. Okay. Is everybody semi-cool with just the most fundamental reason that we graph things is so I can more easily identify trends. And I can see all of the data at once instead of having to scan through. I can just see the visual is much easier for humans to deal with. Okay. I'm not saying I'm not human, by the way. It always sounds like you humans do this. All right. I like it. So your graph might be better at the end there because I think I skipped one somewhere over here. I think this is supposed to be over here, but oh well, I skipped somebody. Okay. Any questions on that? I'm gonna stop sharing on that. Okay, here we go. I'm stopping right now. Here I go. Stop. All right. Coming back to the book real quick. All right, hold on. Where'd you guys go? There you are. There it is. Okay. All right, so that's the problem we just did. Blah, 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 blah. And then they got all this kind of crap. Who cares? So let's look at the homework real quick. Let's see what we're going to have to worry about. So here's the little outline of stuff. All right, let me blow this up a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more. Okay. Here we go. All right, so obviously you're going to have to do a problem like we just did on your own. So they give you a bunch of data. They want you to write the ordered pair here. So now you got to read through this. You got to be careful. Use hours after midnight, not the actual time. So what would this first ordered pair be?
0, 0.
No. Thank you for playing though. So this ordered pair, what information should it show? I mean, what are the two pieces of information I have?
12 a.m.
Time and temperature.
Time and temperature. All right. So, and it says use hours after midnight. So the one piece I agree with you is the first coordinate should be 0, right? Because midnight is 0 hours after midnight. But then it should be comma what?
61.
61.
61. I love it, right? So show the time, in this case, hours after midnight, comma, temperature. And of course, we know what this should look like. If I go over the night and then I go into the morning, it should start to go up. And then depending on how far they go, yeah, into the evening, it should go down. Oh, it's amazing. It's remarkable, right? And of course, if you live out by the bay, your temperature looks more like this. And if you live out here, it's like, hello, goodbye. You know, okay. Anyway, I like it. So that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to identify the ordered pairs, and then you're going to have to put them in the chart. Now, what's missing from the chart that you have to come up with?
The numbers.
Yeah, good. The scale for each one, right? So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've given you like 13 tick marks, but there's a hell of a lot more times. So you might want to go 2, 4, 6, 8. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you a few little hints. And then this one, you got to be able to make it up to like 80 something. So you got to be careful about what you make this scale. If you do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, it looks like that should work. You guys with me? You don't have to use that. You can use something else, but okay, maybe. So scale. So listen up. As good as you might think you are at graphing, or if you know that you suck at graphing, here you go. Scale is what you deal with first, obviously. You got to figure out, what do I make each thing represent? 5? Do I make each one 10, 20, 30? Do I make each one 2, 4, 6? And you got to make sure that it goes far enough to capture all your data. Don't just make the tick marks the same thing as your data points. That makes no sense. Because then your scale could be like really crazy. So some people do 5, 12, 13, 28. Holy shit, what? No, every step has got to be the same or else you're basically lying about the shape. Okay, maybe. The quickest way to make a math or a science teacher cry is to have a graph with a scale that's insane. 5, 10, 20, 80, 81, 82, 900. Holy what? No, your scale's got to be consistent or else little tears come out. And I used to grade homework and have little tear droplets. No, come on. Can't do that anymore in the digital age. Blah, 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 blah. And then they ask you a few questions about the graph you just created. And they'll be much easier. Once you get the graph created, you'll be able to answer questions like, where's the highest temperature, or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. And then number 7 is interesting because notice something about this. I noticed this, but I wasn't sure. Why does it kind of suck to start the scale at 0? Let me see if you guys get this. What's going to happen? Most of the temperatures are between 60 up to 80, right? So when you make this graph 0, 10, 20, 30, aren't all your data points going to be like hovering in the same little area? So if you didn't have to start at 0, if instead you started at 50 down here, if this was 50, then you can go by maybe 50, maybe you can go by 3s, 53, 56, 59, 62, and then you can get a lot more information out. You can see much better how it's moving. If your scale is really big and your data is not changing much, it looks almost like a straight line. I don't know if you guys are with me or not. You got to do the homework to see this happen. So the first one, there's not going to be like the line is barely going to be moving. On the second one, you can zoom in and you can see how it's really moving. Okay, maybe. So the basic skill of being able to plot points, you have to have that skill. The secondary skill is when you pick a different scale or a different starting point, how does that affect the graph? And that's what these first couple of things are looking at. Oh yeah, so I got to remember, so you definitely need the book because this references something earlier in the book to create graphs for something earlier in the book. All right. Oh, and then our next section is going to focus on fractions. So if you're still hating fractions, either that's good news or bad news. I don't know. If you're hoping that you'll never have to deal with fractions, that's not true. So this is good news that we're going to focus in on stuff to deal with fractions if they still annoy the hell out of you. But what I want to do, I want to try something a little new. Because I'm worried about a couple of you guys that are really kind of behind in homework. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to work. If you don't have a book, this is going to suck a little bit, but not too bad. I think you can probably Get some. You might want to get some graph paper if you don't have a book to do this in, right? So if I were a student in my class, I would say, Jeff, get some freaking graph paper because you suck at basically everything to do with writing. So good. If people do their freehand graph on their lined paper and they suck just as bad as me, I'm like, oh, I can't read that. I can't read that. I have no idea. If you have the book, it's basically graph paper. And then you just scan your book, that's fine. By the way, real quick, if anybody's doing their work in the book, you don't always have to do another sheet of paper when you need more room. There's a few people that are just trying to cram all this work into little sections of the book. That's insane, especially when I'm trying to grade it. That's insane. It's driving me a little insane. Give yourself another sheet of paper and just put on other paper. On your scan, just put on another paper. It's beautiful. Is everybody with me? I appreciate that. Okay. So what I want to do is to let you guys do this first problem, just so you can see what I'm talking about. I think that's all no shit, there's more data points. So let me at least give you this much data points if you are relying on my sharing. Start writing down the ordered pairs. And then I even want to see if anybody will like to share their graph with everybody once they get it done. We'll see. By the way, I'm going to start asking all my classes. I did this for my class last night. A decent number of you guys have your video on. I think I'm going to ask if there's anybody else that could turn your video on. It just makes me feel so much better to be talking to human faces instead of, thanks, Vu. You don't have to. I understand some of you guys don't have a camera or you're in a place where you don't want to have video. There's something weird happening in the background. I don't know. You're in a compromising position. I don't know. But if you can turn your camera on, that would be much appreciated. Hey, all right. There's Cameron. Wendy, all right. Look at people. I just hate that there are some of you guys that I have no idea what you look like. But we'll see. Oh, there's some more people. I love it. People. Thank you. Let me see. All right. So me see. I don't know if I do that, what happens? I don't know. Okay, everybody's doing okay. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing this and start sharing what I've done so far. All right, can you guys see my purple chicken scratch?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Karen. And what I've done so far down here, in a really horribly written way, but I'm sorry, it's just the way it's gonna have to happen, is I did a 2, 4, 6, 8 scale so that I can make it all the way through the day, right? Because if you try to do by 1, that's gonna go off the edge of the paper. Is everybody with me? Nothing wrong with trying a scale and then erasing it because it didn't work. That's beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. Now, has anyone gotten to the point, and is everybody cool with all the points? You guys understand, like about 1 o'clock, you don't put a 1 there. It's 13 hours after. And if you're in the military, or if you have been, then that's your life, basically. 1,300 hours, right? 1,400 hours, military clock goes all the way up. What kind of scale should I use for this one? I don't think I gave away what that should be. Somebody have a suggestion on what kind of scale I want to use here?
I use, you talking about the temperature?
Yeah, what kind of scale? Yeah, for this
I went by
axis.
10.
10? Okay, that's not a bad idea. Did anybody else use a different scale, or have you thought about that yet? Why would I not use 5? Because if you try it, how far? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Ah, shit. And all my data is like above 60. So yeah, let's use 10 since nobody else has got a different. You could probably use something like 8, but round numbers are good. I've heard that humans like round numbers. So let's do 10, 20, and so forth. You could do it, Jeff. And then we get into like Death Valley stuff up here. All right. So see how that goes a little bit farther up than we need? So then that's where I would make it like 8. Maybe I go by 8s, but this is fine. And then you just start plotting points. So please let me know if anybody's lost. Okay. I'm not trying to leave anybody behind. You guys understand? So 0, 61 is about right there. What's really nice right now, if you think about it, is we're getting the first part of homework done together. That's nice. Okay. And then I got 1. So now I'm going to have to estimate right in the middle. So 163, and then just keep going.
So if I started at 60, that would be wrong and went up by 2.
Yes, that's not what this first problem is about. In a later problem that I show, they ask you to start at 50. So Nikisha, your idea is not wrong. Your idea is better than what they've given us to work with. And that's the point they're trying to make. But to make that point, you got to do as they want. They want you to start at 0.
Okay.
But I really want you to understand, I completely agree with you. Completely. But this is trying to make that point for everybody who doesn't quite see it on their own. That
Okay.
it'd be much better to start at 60. And on the other problem, they start at 50, which is still better.
Okay.
All right, so got to do this insane thing. And then you start to see the points are all really clustered together. You start to see that pretty quickly. You can't really make that big of a difference between 63 and 62, for example. And let's see, it stays 62 for a while. Oops, don't go too far over. 3 is 62. 4 is 62. And then it goes up to 64, which is just a little bit up. Oh, Jeff, you go too far. I got to erase you. Where's my eraser? Go away. All right, anyway. Let's see, 6 is 65, so it's gonna be right in the middle. And then for some reason it went back down to 63. And then it's back up to 60. No, it's still 63. And let me see, am I on track here? Yes. 8, 9, 68. 10 is 71. 11 is 74. It must be annoying me doing that, sorry. Is everybody cool with what I'm doing here? You guys doing it yourself too? What's happening? Everybody cool? Okay. And again, I know this is old news for some of us, but for others of us, it is too old news, or, you know, maybe it's been a long time since you've done this by hand. 13 is 81. 14 is still 81. I'm only going to go up to part of the day, by the way, because that's all I can see here on my little snippet. And then 16 starts to go down again. So, of course, after this, it's going to start to cool going into the evening. So you got more points you got to do for homework. So I'm going to leave you with something to do on your own. But this is what we're saying. If you connect these, I don't even know if it's to connect these, but if you connect these, it doesn't really shift that much. The scale kind of sucks. Like Nikisha pointed out, the scale sucks to show good resolution on how it's changing. All right, so for homework, you got to finish this out, the rest of this, but you know it's going to start to cool the rest of the day. That's how days work. It's crazy. Any questions on that problem by itself there? So we're not done. You got a little more to do for homework, thankfully. I try not to do too much of that for you. And your scale doesn't have to be this. Do you see how like a scale of 8 would be a little bit better? Would I make it all the way to where I need to? Let's see. It'd be 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, 80. Yeah, 88. See? And it would give me a little bit more breathing room. Sorry, go ahead.
I have a question about the bottom of the numbers. What it shows, the 0, 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, are you cool with these ordered pairs that I've written over here? Are you cool with all these?
Yes, I cool with this. No, the other number, the paragraph number.
I know. So if you're cool with these points being 0, 61, 1, 63, and you understand what that 1 means, for example, that's all I'm showing down here. So there's a 1 here, there's a 3 here, right? So I made the scale by 2s, so I'd be able to make it through the whole day. I got to be able to fit all the whole day on this axis. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this means hours after midnight. That's what these numbers mean. I like it.
Okay, thank you.
So I don't want to just do a scale of 1, 2, 3, because then I wouldn't be able to fit the whole day on there. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that and just remind you that the later problem in this, oh shit, where's it at? There it is. And this does what Nikisha wants to do, which I agree with, is this one. It wants to make this 50 right there. I'm sorry, at the bottom, it wants this to be 50. So then your scale could be even by, could we use a scale of 2? 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72. So no, not quite. Do you guys see that? I need to make it up into the 80s. There's nothing wrong with picking something and being wrong. What the hell? So maybe even 3s will work. But you want to use all the room you got so you can make better resolution. Does it make sense when I say better resolution? So I can zoom in a bit and see things better? Okay, maybe. All right. So let me try to continue this little experiment. We've already, so let's knock this part of the homework out also right now. Can you guys do these problems? And this will get us ready for discussing fractions more tomorrow. If you have the book, this is page 74. So this is part of your homework for section 1.5. All right. Oh, you got a chat. Let me see. Ashira, when is the book supposed to get to you?
I don't know. I know Grossman just said that it was being shipped out, like it already shipped out already. So it doesn't even tell me our tracking number or anything. So
Oh, jeez. That's amazing. All right, so do me this favor. I'll go ahead and scan 1.5 homework. Sam needs it too, so I'll do 1.5 homework. And then just people that are waiting on the book, keep me updated. Like I said, I don't want to do that the whole semester, but because you need the whole book. You need to be able to look at all the examples and stuff. But at least I'll post the homework so you can keep up with that.
okay, thank you.
Can one of you guys email me right now and remind me to do that? Because my memory works. It's really, really strong, but it lasts about 3 seconds. Strong memory, but it doesn't last long. Sam will? Okay. Sam, you've been volunteered to email me and remind me to scan 1.5 homework. Oh yeah, it's gotta be over there. Here, let me do something real quick. Don't worry, don't freak out. There we go. All right. You guys can see it again? Okay, thank you. So I want to kind of catch up to you because there's something about number 3 that I'm not sure how you guys are working it. This is the kind of problem, especially with the fractions they give you. I don't want you using the calculator. So on future quizzes, I'm going to be very specific on which problems you can use a calculator, which you can't. But let me kind of catch up to that. This first problem everybody should have done because we're really used to this, right? So what do I divide by? to get down to the lowest terms?
4.
4. I want to point something out. How far apart are 12 and 16?
4.
4. So I want this to make a ton of sense. The only way to reduce them would have to be to use 4 or 2, because 2 goes into 4. So what's really neat is you can look at, so like part, let's do this one real quick. Divide by 4, I get 3. Divide by 4, I get 4. Amazing. Look at this one. How far apart are 65 and 80?
15.
15. So I could either try to use 15, and you quickly see that 15 does not go into 65, or I could use 3 or 5 because they're both parts of 15. I have no idea if this is a cool little tiny trick. You don't really necessarily need it. Obviously, they're both divisible by what?
5.
5. So this one doesn't really, the shortcut doesn't really help because I can see they're both divisible by 5. So that'll be 13, and 5 goes into 80.
16 times.
16. Shaboo. All right. So that should hopefully be fine. I think I've seen most everybody be able to do that pretty well. What about this one? We've done this a few times. We've actually done it the other way. How do I make 60% back into a decimal?
You move the percent from the decimal over twice to the left.
Yeah, you move the decimal place once, twice. So it becomes 0.6. Or you can just write 0.6, but we normally put the 0 there so the little point doesn't get lost. What about 12.5%? You do the same thing. Once, twice, so that'll be 0.
Sorry, that was my daughter.
Okay. I was like, we don't even have a number 7. All right. Now, without using your calculator on number 3, how would you convert this into a decimal without using your calculator and without doing any division? Does anybody know? You're like, I don't know, Jeff. I don't know that kind of alchemy.
You times both by 2.
Yes. Why? Because then it makes it a fraction that's out of 10, which is what a decimal is. It's something out of 10 or 100 or 1,000. That's what decimals are. So what is 6/10 as a decimal then? How do I write that?
0.6.
0.6, yeah, because that's the tenths place. And then how do I make that into a percentage? Well, come on, problem. That's too easy.
Times 100.
Yeah, it's 0.6 times 100, so I get 60%. I love it. Can I do that same trick with this one? I can. Not with 16, though, but of course, what is 12/16? We already did it.
3/4.
3/4. And then can I make the bottom become some multiple of 10? I can't make the bottom become 10, can I? But I can make it become, not 10, but I can make it become 100 if I multiply by
25.
Cool. So then it becomes 75 out of 100. What is that as a decimal?
0.75.
Yes. Is everybody with that? You only have to do long division if the bottom can't become 10 or 100 or 1,000. And then, of course, that would be 75%. Moving it over. Bam, bam. All right,
I have
maybe. Yes.
So you put for 60% into the decimal 0.6. Are
Yes.
you allowed 0 next to it? That's okay, right? Or am I wrong there?
Yeah, you can write it as 0.6 or you can write it as 0.6. And you see this one more often. The reason we put that there is so the decimal doesn't get lost. So if I have 0.6 in some big paragraph, it's easier for that to get lost. And then it looks like just a 6.
What I'm asking, can I put 0.60?
Oh, sure, of course. That's kind of like, I want you to really, does everybody understand why I can put I can do this, can't I? I can just go crazy. Wee! Okay, we're gonna stop. Sorry. Right? Why? Why is that allowed? So real quick, what is 0.6 as a fraction again?
6/10.
I like it. And what is 0.60 as a fraction?
60/100.
Is everybody cool with that? And of course, what do you do when you reduce 60/100? I can divide by 10, and it's 6/10. So adding zeros just makes it become a bigger and bigger fraction. That fraction will always reduce back to the one without any zeros on it. Is everybody with me? That's why that's completely allowed. I like it. I like it a lot.
I have a
Yes.
question. I'm confused. How come on A you multiplied to get the answer, but on B you divide? No.
Oh, here.
Yes.
On this one, I multiplied both times. Oh. All right, so what did I do here? The bottom was 5. That became 10 easy. Is that cool?
Yes.
The bottom was 5. I multiplied 2. I can make it 10. Okay. Here, the bottom is 16. Can I make that become 10 or 100 or something easily?
No.
No. So what I did instead was I reduced it like we already did, because now the bottom is 4. I can make that become 100. Does everybody understand that 12/16 equals 3/4? I mean, they really are equal to each other. They are the same number. Is everybody cool with that? They just look different. It's like 8 divided by 2 versus 20 divided by 5. Aren't those the same number? They're both 4, right? So is that right? So you're right. I understand. But the idea was the same. Since this bottom is easily made into 10, I did it. This bottom is not easy to work with, so I realized I could reduce it. So I did that first, just because the bottom becomes a better number to work with then. Is that all right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, because the alternative is to long divide this thing. I don't want to do that. Don't make me do it. Okay. So what about this one? This one shouldn't be too bad at all now. What is 0.13 as a percent?
13%.
That's right. Just move the decimal. Bam, bam. So remember what I said. The percent number is always bigger than the decimal number, if you forget which way to move the decimal place. And what does this one become? You do the same thing. Bam.
5.8%.
5.8%. I love it. Kick in the acid. And then why is it really, really easy to make a percent into a fraction? Because what does a percent symbol mean?
That number.
100.
Beautiful. So the percent symbol is, in fact, do you see how the percent symbol is the number 100 reformulated? If I take the number 100 and I put the 1 here and I put the zeros here and here, holy shit, it's a percent symbol. Maybe? No? Whatever, Jeff. All right. And then to reduce that, it's easy because 75 over 100 is 3/4. We already know that from earlier. Or you just reduce it from that. So of course, 15% would be 15 over 100. And then that's easy to reduce, right? Divide by. Nobody's going to help me. Divide by 5. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, maybe. So that wasn't like a very deep dive. But again, this is just prep skills. This is just the skills you have to kind of know going in. So next class, we'll dive deeper into section 1.6. You might want to take a little preview of it. And hopefully somebody has emailed me to remind me to put up their 1.5 homework. Otherwise, I think that's enough for today. We'll get out a little bit early. If anybody's upset about that, I'm sorry. You can report me to my dean and see what happens. Okay. If you have any questions, stick around. Also, don't forget that we have extra office hours today at 12:30 if you want to come back then too, right? Is everybody aware of that? There's a link in Canvas for the extra office hours. Okay. All right. Does anyone have questions or?
I have a question about correcting the quiz.
Yes.
I didn't write down the whole entire question for like I think it was like number 1. How will I know what that question is if I want to fix it? Like the problem. Go ahead.
You are still able to see the quiz, right? If you go to Canvas and go to the quiz, it's still there.
Okay. Okay, never mind. Thank you.
That's okay. All right. Anybody else? You guys all right? By the way, nobody asked me this, and now I've lost so many people, but when are the quiz
Thank you.
corrections due? Sure.
I will
When are the
study
quiz?
I will study. Thank you.
All right. When are the quiz corrections due?
Before the next quiz?
Nope.
Before the final?
Yeah, the day of the final. I hadn't decided, and then I decided, and now I can't remember how many classes I've told. So you have a ton of time. The final's cumulative. That's why I go ahead and do that. So you can get the quiz done and get it out of the way, or you can do it later. Whenever you do it, it's going to be studied for the final. So that's why I make it. I decided to do that. All right. How's everybody else? You guys all right?
I was wondering if I could like ask you a few questions when everyone's out.
Oh, is it something you don't want other people to be involved in? Is that what it is?
Well,
Lauren?
I think I'm struggling.
All right, we'll see. Anybody else have questions? Otherwise, leave. Can you guys, let's see. Joel, are you there? Joel, Wasan? Okay, now I'm down to Joel and Wasan. Okay, now I'm down to Joel. Joel! Okay, now I'm down. Okay. So what's up? Let me stop recording.